I am Rabbi Aklepi, and I welcome you to this week's Erev Tov. Good evening from Temple Beth Annex and Studio 2 of my living room this evening. I am happy that you are joining us just a week before the new year, and I see the dog is happy to say her greetings as well. Well, we're getting ready for a new year, and we are discussing how we got back to school. We're a couple of weeks ago. We're discussing what kind of plans, we want for the new year. Of course, it's hard to plan during this pandemic, but when we get ready for New Year, a lot of our thinking starts off internally. What do we want for our own lives? Who are we? Where are we going? And for some people, well, we talk about what kind of future do we want in terms of partners and family. So we'll be talking to a wonderful young family who happen to be my neighbors and talking to them about their life and their building a family and their love story, which is always fun to hear. You know, we are in the month of Elul, the month before Rosh Hashanah, and there is a tradition that the Hebrew letters of Elul, Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Lamed, are an acronym for Ani L'Dodi V'Dodi Li. I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine, from Shir HaShirim, from the Song of Songs, a book of the Bible, which is also love poetry. So we love to hear more about love and futures being built together. So that's going to happen in a little while. But first, we have to start with a cocktail to start off our weekend. Last week, we did a little rock and roll. We had a beer and we had a Jack Daniel's pre-mixed with seltzer in a can, but one of our guests is coming from Nashville, which meant we had to once again bring out the Jack Daniel's. Now, I think the first or second show, we had a similar drink, but since I like this so much, well, we're having a very similar drink again. But we're talking about Nashville, so I brought out the Jack Daniel's and honey. It had to be the honey because we're wishing everybody a sweet new year. Our non-alcoholic drink, not the same one we had last week because it is also great. The sparkling apple juice, So now, yes, you know it, we have apples and honey for a sweet new year. So we're all taken care of. Let's see what we have for the drink. This drink, according to the internet, is called Tennessee Gold or Gold Tennessee, something like that. And we have, and you know that my rule for making drinks, as we do not go out that much, is to use whatever we have at home. This drink calls for some special brand of a Nashville craft alcohol, a bourbon. So, or a Tennessee whiskey. So we have this, and a mix of a honey syrup, which I have, and I've already pre-mixed the honey syrup because I wasn't sure that the honey Jack was sweet enough. So I have a honey syrup, which I mix. Honey syrup you make with warm water and honey, mix it up, and some lemon juice. It calls for lemon juice, honey syrup and lemon juice already mixed, and the Jack, and that's it. Doesn't call for anything else. In a shaker with ice. So pour the Jack in. We'll pour the lemon juice. Now it does call for fresh lemon juice. I always have fresh lemons, except today. And I wasn't just going to go to the store just for lemons because it's not really safe just for lemons. So I had to use lemon juice in a little bottle. Take that up. Let's see. I also did some guesstimation on how much lemon and how much extra honey syrup. But if you like Jack Daniel's with honey, look. What I am always amazed at is how my measurements work out nearly perfectly into the glass. and that is very, very good. I do say that the freshly squeezed lemon juice or the freshly squeezed lime juice does taste better, but this is pretty good. It did need the extra honey syrup. So l'chaim and a happy new year. I will try not to drink too much of that because I won't be able to ask them a question so clearly. And I will, oh, look at this. Is there a football game tonight? I think there is. Let's try the Martinellis. This can go nice. This is slightly carbonated, the apple juice. And if you were here last week, I said it was delicious last week. It's still delicious. And I still think it's just a tad too sweet, but pretty good. Okay, so there you have it. A Tennessee Gold, some Tennessee whiskey with honey syrup and lemon juice, and of course, a little carbonated apple juice. And as we say, tonight's a game, go Canes. I would also, I only have one child as a Cane now. I do like to be fair and honest with my children's schools, but my oldest daughter in law school at Yeshiva University's law school, they don't have a football team. Okay, but when basketball season comes, I guess I can cheer for them. So Tennessee, Nashville, when you think of Nashville, you think of, well, besides Jack Daniels, you think of country music, right? When you think of country music, you don't always think of a Jewish girl from Pinecrest marrying a country musician, but lo and behold, that's our couple. So let's introduce Rebekah and Ian Holgers. Come on in and let's hear about this love story and what their future brings and how they're going to share it. So thank you, Ian, and thank you for Rebekah. They're in two different places because Ian's in Nashville for a couple of weeks. He travels a lot, and Rebekah is now with her parents. With Leo is not 3 yet, is he?
Next month.
Next month, their son's going to be a 3, and Rebekah's about to have another baby
Next month.
So that's a nice spread. And if she stood up, you would see when I say about to have a baby, I mean about to. I couldn't let this interview really go another day because I thought we would be preempted by another baby. So here we go. So Rebekah and Ian has a guitar because if Ian speaks, he has to also sing and play. That's the rule.
Generally how it goes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
We're, as I said before, we're so touched that you think to ask us, and we just feel really lucky to be your neighbor.
Thank you. Well, you know what? One of the things that I like to do, which is so important, is to make sure that whoever comes around the temple, even for a visit, feels welcome. And when people come from different cultures and they haven't hung out either in a Jewish environment or a temple, things can seem unusual. Actually, even if you're Jewish and you go into a new school or a new synagogue, it could be like Martians are talking to you. Everything could be in such high context. Even the abbreviations that people use, you just don't know. And so one of my goals is to always make sure that we are welcoming. How much all the more so when one of the members of a couple wasn't raised Jewish, wasn't raised in town. How do you figure out what the heck's going on and how are you made to feel welcome? So this is one of the ways to feel welcome. We introduce people, we get to know who is who, we share who you are with the community, and then people like me understand, what are those areas where somebody doesn't feel welcome, and how can we change that? So one of them is Jewish, one of them isn't. And since I also do a lot of work in this fluid movement of people of different faiths being married and raising families, I always like to learn more and see how it's working and what we all can learn as an older generation, as the same generation, and even as a younger generation? What does it take to make these kinds of relationships work? Who are the people, and what are the issues? So first of all, before you get into any issues, because that's already a judgment, and I'm not judging.
We want to discuss all of our problems here now.
All judges off, no judgment. So first, tell me how you guys met, and what you saw in each other. We'll start at the very beginning.
You want to take that, Ian? I think.
Sure. So Becca and I met at Duke University. I was a year ahead of her in school, and I had come back. I was a transfer student to Duke, so I'd come back to campus with my brother, and we'd been asked to play some music at a transfer barbecue on campus. And one of my closest friends, who actually ended up being my band's manager and and was another transfer student, came to the barbecue. It was only about 30 people there, but he brought Becca because they were friends. And little did I know that he's a big purveyor of music just amongst his friends. And he had sent Becca a track that my brother and I wrote the summer before. And so she'd been listening to it all summer. And
that's randomly on my iPad, which is the most amazing thing, like keeping it on shuffle and coming across this thing.
But didn't realize it was us.
Yeah.
And so
because their last name is Holgis. And what is that?
That's right. It's a very strange last name. And so Becca, we played the set, and we played this song that Becca had been listening to all summer. And she came up to me right after the show ended, and she said, "I just have to tell you, I hate that song. I've been listening to it all summer, and it's dead to me." And I thought,
that's some move, Becca.
Yeah. I was really excited that this guy that was singing this song that I didn't even know was at my school is also really cute. So
yeah,
And I thought she was very saucy, so I was immediately intrigued.
So
and we were basically dating from then.
Yeah, we started dating very soon thereafter. Our first initial kind of getting to know each other happened when we went on runs together on campus, and we just had a very kind of natural pickup to a romance from there. So it was great.
And so you liked the song, but what's the name of the band? Did you have the same name of the band then as you do now?
No. So we were very casual at that point, and my last name is Holgis, as Becca mentioned, and we had in a very silly way, had called the band Holgi, as in multiple Holgises. So that's
I could not pronounce that.
Right. And so that's what Becca had been seeing on her iPod all summer, and it was a big mystery.
Yeah. So
okay.
I was really surprised, but it was really neat, and it was it was just him and his brother, who looks the same, and they're not the Jewish ones of our relationship. So I was just really lucky to meet him, and we just really took off from there. We've been together for almost maybe 15 years now. So
wow.
Yeah, it's
that's a long time.
Yeah, and I still really like him. So we're in a good spot.
Mutual. And I will say, for as unusual as we may seem, the most influential text in my life is Prince of Tides by Pat Conroy. So for me, it felt actually quite natural that when a blonde Southern man meets a beautiful, brilliant Jew, the two would have sparks, and there would be an immediate chemistry. So I felt very natural about the whole thing.
You're already on that direction. And tell me about the heritage of Holgis. Is it Dutch? It sounds Dutch. What is it?
It's Danish, German, kind of vaguely European, some Irish in there. We're just, European mutts.
Okay. Okay. And so you met at school, and you were still 19, 20, 21 years old. All right.
Yeah.
And you were together ever since. And then, Ian, were you a music major at Duke? No.
No, I was an English major, and I am a pretty, meat and potatoes musician, but I do really love writing music. And so that was kind of what I used my major to launch into as I went into a career in music.
Okay. And Rebekah, what was your undergrad?
Well, I was a poli-sci major, just, I don't know, something I kind of fell into. My dad's a lawyer, and now a lot of our family members, my brother, my sister-in-law, my future brother-in-law, my aunts and uncles were all lawyers. So I think it was written in the cards for me. And then I went to law school and at Duke, and that's when Ian also started the band that he's in now, that's taken him to Nashville for the first time since COVID started. He got there last night, because they had to do some things together. And so he'll be back in 2 weeks. But yeah, that's what I did. Or that was my major. And not that I feel have particularly strong thoughts on it. I just felt really lucky that I kind of went to school wanting to meet someone, and like that was what I did. So
So that's interesting thing. So you go to Duke and you're a poli-sci major, and you're going to go to law school, and you're going to law school at Duke. Did you stay at Duke because you had met Ian and he wanted to stay in the South? Okay, so you stayed there.
Yeah,
and
I loved undergrad, but I just wanted to be near him. So when I got in, I was over the moon about it.
Me too.
And so when you mentioned to your parents that this is the man I love and I'm staying in this area because of him, what was the response?
Oh, I would love my mom to chime in on this. She was like, if you go to Duke, you better not leave me and go meet some guy and stay in North Carolina, which I did until 2 years ago. I did, but when they met Ian, they fell in love with him immediately. So they were fine with that, but she was just like, never leave Miami. And I did until I had a kid. So I feel like it worked out fine for her in the end, because we came back with a kid. So we're
right. You came back with what you really was interested in, although she loves both of you. Okay.
Yeah.
And Ian, your family, who may not have read Prince of Tides and fell in love with it like you, what was their response to Rebekah?
I promise they have all read Prince of Tides, and we are all devotees. So they loved Becca. What was very funny about both of us meeting each other's parents was that it happened incredibly early. Like, I think it happened on the 3rd week of my dating Becca. Yeah. My parents came to campus, and then Becca, which I think was a real ambitious move, had me come visit her family like 3 months later. Yeah. But I love Becca's parents. They have been, I could not have better in-laws. They've been so welcoming to me. My family's crazy about Becca. And so it's been, I think we're very fortunate on both sides to have extremely open-minded, loving families. And it never was an issue. It was right off the bat, just, a sense of open arms. And this, I think it's part of why it was so natural that we've been together for 15 years. And
it's a big part of it. And the only thing I would add about your parents is also why I'm really lucky is, like, I was very clear from the beginning, like, I'm Jewish, my babies will be Jewish. And his parents have been nothing but supportive of that the whole time, which, coming in as like a 19-year-old and being like, hey, just so you know,
right.
They were.
And kind of funny for me was to discover, which I didn't realize, that some of the favorite wings of our family also have Jewish branches. So, like, one of my mom's favorite cousins, I don't think he was raised in the temple very much, but he is technically Jewish. His mom is Jewish, and so it was kind of fun to realize that we had some of those branches within our family already. It felt, and again, kind of felt very natural, because my mom's closest friends growing up were always Jewish women. So there's always been kind of a Holgis attraction there. It's been, we feel very fortunate. Our families.
We're very lucky.
Yeah. So
Rebekah, but something inside of you said, I'm going to make the statement, like, early on, like as a 19-year-old. So, and would you have done it if you didn't feel like an openness from Ian's family? Or, was that your bottom line, no matter who that family was or who he was? You think you would have done the same?
Well, obviously I can't know how it would have worked out if they hadn't been open, but when I met Ian, I immediately felt this was very serious, and I was 100% in, and if it didn't work out, I wouldn't have any regrets. That's what I always say when I met him. I was like, this is a really good person, and I'm 100% in. So because it felt serious, I think I was, and I've always been a Reformed Jew, a lot of my Jewish affiliation feels cultural, but it also feels just very much who I am, and going to Beth and being bar mitzvah there, and Hebrew school and all that was very much a part of me. And I don't know, it feels weird to say at some points that Judaism was that important to me, but I think between knowing that was something I kind of wanted to carry in with me, continue Jewish heritage, and knowing that I felt that Ian was just a person I could really talk to, and a person that I really wanted to immediately commit to a serious relationship with. It didn't feel that unnatural to say it to him. I think I've never said that to anyone. I don't think I'd ever said that to anyone else because it was I'm not going to hang around that long. This isn't going anywhere. So I think it was just he was very open to it. And then his family has been nothing but open and welcoming in the same regard. So I think I just kind of got lucky that the foundation was there for me to make my proclamations, draw my lines in the sand as a person. So yeah, that's how that's gone.
So when I look at a couple like you, and I see Ian, I know you brought Leo to the temple for a baby naming. I wonder, how do you approach Ian, or Ian, how do you get involved spiritually, religiously, in some organized way? Do you come in as an observer and you look around saying how this feels? Do you come as a participant? Do you come as somebody who wants to learn more? Where is your comfort level? And Rebekah, do you feel like, oh, I want to go, I'm not sure I want to go, I don't know if I want to bring Ian, I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable? Where is that comfort level in participation in Jewish life, and synagogue life? You haven't had that much, you have just a very young child, but where is that comfort level?
Well, I hope it's okay if I start a little bit further back with what my background is. So I was raised in the South. My family moved from North Carolina to Tennessee, then to Georgia. And throughout that period, I always felt like my mom was kind of shopping for the right church. That was a big theme. We were always trying out different congregations. And we finally, when I was 11, moved out to California, having never found the right fit. And the church at the end of my street had a lesbian pastor. And that was right down my mom's alley. She was like, yes, we can get on board. This is a very progressive congregation. And then the board, a couple years into attending that church, kicked out the pastor. And at that point, my mom was kind of like, all right, well, I'm just done with Christianity altogether. And so we've been kind of an agnostic family since then. But I am somebody who I explore spirituality a lot in my songwriting. I am very spiritually and religious and curious about religion. And my best friend growing up was Muslim. I did have Jewish friends growing up, and I was included in a lot of different ceremonies that I always really enjoyed and felt grateful to have been a part of. And so I have loved getting to participate in the temple. I think that when Becca and I started dating and I was coming down to Florida more regularly, we started attending things pretty regularly, and I was always excited about it. And I think one of the earliest available ways of connecting was through the music. And I have always liked that about, the religious services I attended as a child, to get a chance to learn the kind of foundational melodies and hymns. And so that has been a wonderful thing for me to be able to pick up. And I'm really love that about the religious ceremonies that we practice in our home, especially around Shabbat now. And for me, I really want to learn more. I've actually spoken to Rabbi Greengrass about converting. I'm trying to figure out exactly what that might mean for me, because I grew up with, religious being quite a dogmatic, presence. And the thing that I both deeply appreciate about my understanding of Reform Judaism, but also, took me a while to kind of get my head around, was that there's, from my perspective, from my exposure, there's very little dogma. There's a lot of ritual and wisdom and kind of culture. And so I have been so grateful to have access to that through Becca and through raising Leo in the temple. And I just feel so happy that he will grow up with that, because I didn't grow up with a community that my family really connected to. And to have that kind of foundationally built in with Becca's family is, truly, truly a gift, and has been in my life. And I think it's been even more cemented during COVID, because Shabbat services have become a real rallying point for us on a weekly basis. And, my family sense of religion is just the fact that we get together for rituals, to be there together as a family. And, being able to worship and to say prayers and to express gratitude in the Jewish rituals has been very meaningful to me. So I'm really grateful.
Wow. He does a lot better than some Jewish men.
He's gotten really good at all the stuff for Shabbat. He's definitely leading us all at this point.
No, I will say I did get a little bit assertive about the melodies for the Shabbat, because I couldn't. Becca was really hemming and hawing around our different blessings of the wine, and it was challenging me. So that was the one place that I really made my stand over COVID.
Yeah.
Okay. Learning the melodies. There are always new melodies to learn, and also new melodies to write. So don't be afraid to jump in there. I love hearing that Shabbat was a rallying point, and I think that's true. As we come close to the High Holy Days, that's another place to rally as we get hopefully comfort and also courage that we're not alone during these times, and we can gain comfort from each other and gain comfort from a sense of the divine moving us forward and helping us gain a sense of ourselves and a sense of greater purpose and meaning as we connect to others and see the best ways that we can live our lives and have relationships with each other and have relationships with our families and raise them. So that is pretty awesome. So as you look, go ahead.
There's just one thing I wanted to add, which is we have been so blessed that none of our family has contracted COVID, and of our friends that have, they've all survived and they're doing, pretty well. And I felt like a real push to want to do Shabbat, because I just feel so grateful. Obviously, everything that's going on is so terrible and just so heart-wrenching, and I have a lot of thoughts.
You have a pregnancy hormone.
Yeah, but also just like all the things that shouldn't be happening to people right now that they are enduring, but being able to come together and just say thank you, God, has been something that's been really nice, and I feel grateful to Reform Judaism for just like offering a mechanism or a contract to do that. And it's pretty, apart from the fact that it's in Hebrew, when you sing the prayers, like the message is like, thanks for bread, thanks for wine, thanks for being together and for another week, and thanks for our health. And I don't know, I just, I've always felt grateful about the religion for that. And especially now, like we didn't do Shabbat every week before this, but we have been doing it now. And yeah, it's, I don't know, it's just, I think it's a really neat thing about Reform Judaism in particular. So, and I'm grateful for that.
So the idea of a sense of gratitude, it's actually in all the Judaisms. I mean, prayer is one of the major reasons for prayer is to share our gratitude and to recognize gratitude. Without recognizing gratitude, it seems we just live an entitled existence. So gratitude is extremely important, and Shabbat gives us, it's exactly one of the reasons why it's there. We stop from our material grab at the outside world, and we say, whoa, look at this, look at all we have, and look at all we're thankful for. And we connect spiritually into the natural world. And so it does for you exactly what it's supposed to do. And that's so important, because we can't be a part of building a society that's just and fair without having gratitude for what we have. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. You guys have done an excellent job together. Really, you haven't had any hurdles. So that's awesome. And you've really found not just soulmates in terms of love and futures, but spiritual soulmates. And it would seem on a surface level, gee, that's surprising from on the outside, such different backgrounds. We're not really that different. And yet spiritually, you really are on the same path. And that's going to be such a wonderful way to raise your family, connected to each other, connected to finding the divine in your life, and to raise it up and to understand that we're not alone in this world, that there is this power that helps us along and gives us comfort, and that's something that we're grateful for. So that's beautiful. So Ian's sitting there with his guitar. Oh, and Ian, you know what? That's a great name for an album, The Church at the End of the Street.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
I'm really honing in on those. The Church at the End of the Street. I hear that album. It's great now, especially for the pandemic time. People questioning. It's a great album about questioning their faith and are they alone? And so think about that. Okay, I just need a little tiny credit there in the bottom of the
very small.
Yeah,
like
tiny,
size 8,
like a 6-point font. It's tiny. So okay, so we're going to hear a song, and tell us about the song.
This is a song that I started writing when Delta Ray's touring really started to ramp up, and Beck and I were, spending more time doing long distance relationship work than we had in the past, and I was just missing her a lot. And I think a lot of my songwriting is kind of as much as it's projecting a message outward, it's always also projecting a message to me of kind of comforting and soothing that things are going to be okay. And so this is a song called My Whole Life Long. And it's also the song that when Becca and I got engaged 5 years ago now, or no, it was 6 years ago now. This is the song, maybe 7, that we got engaged. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. This was the song that I played on stage that prompted the proposal. So it's a very special song for me. I actually don't sing it usually. My brother sings it as a duet with one of our female singers, Liz Hopkins. And so this is a new venture for me, but I've gone through it a couple times, so it shouldn't be a total disaster.
Great.
Awesome. I wanna love you in the daylight, with the world all alive around us. 'cause it's too hard through a phone line to hold you the way I want to. So don't leave me, say you need me. Have a little faith in what we've made. Just think about how strong our love is gone. Think about how good these seeds we've sown. I will love you, I will love you my whole life long. Oh yeah, oh, my baby. And I wanna love you in the darkness, with the night rolling in like thunder. 'Cause it's too easy, baby, when I spent so many nights alone, to forget how you pull me under. So don't leave me, say you need me. Have a little faith in what we've made. Just think about how strong our love is. Think about how good these seeds we've sown. I will love you, I will love you my whole life long. Oh yeah, oh, just think about how strong our love is strong. Think about how good these seeds we've sown. I will love you, I will love you my whole life long. Oh yeah, oh, my baby. 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 Oh yeah, oh yeah, my baby. Oh yeah, my baby. Oh yeah, my baby. Oh yeah, think about how strong our love is grown. Think about how good these seeds we've sown. I will love you, I will love you my whole life long. Thank you.
Fabulous. Wow. So Becca, you have your own love song that you can hear on tour at any time. I hope they still do that song. It's a beautiful song of love and commitment to you, and how wonderful to use your energies and your talents to share that love. Great. Beautiful. So Ian, do a plug for Delta Ray. By the way, people watch this actually in Germany and Israel, and my friends all over the world are loving to tune into this through Facebook. So give a plug out.
That's awesome. Well, my band is called Delta Ray, Delta RAE, and we are not touring because of COVID, unfortunately, but we have just launched a new website called Behind the Door. You can check it out at deltaray.com. And it's an archive basically of all of our activity that we're doing at present. So we've got new songs that we're writing, live performances. We've got a live concert coming up on the 20th, I think, that will be live streaming from Behind the Door. So it's $10 a month to join, and we'd love to see anybody who's interested.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I wish you guys a Shana Tova, a Happy New Year. May you be inscribed in the book of life for joy and happiness and health. For the new baby, we say in Hebrew, B'sha'a Tova, which means at the right hour, for this wonderful moments ahead. And you just better not be in some other city when this happens, Ian. So
I know.
just warning you, as the Jewish mother 2 doors down, that you have to be close by. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing the openness and the generosity of both of your hearts as you do this journey of parenting together and exploring, and Ian, your openness to explore Judaism and to be a part of the faith, and to see what's out there if it's for you, and to share with Rebekah and her family, all that we think not only enhances life but gives us a path of growth and a way to live that's meaningful to us and purposeful. So your openness really shows a light on us and the way that we hope the world can see and share. So we're about that sharing. We're about, of course, generosity of spirit, certainly this time of year. We want everybody to be happy and, of course, healthy. We want to reach out to all of our friends who need our prayers of health. So at this happy moment, we wish you well. We wish everybody out there well. A l'chaim from Nashville, I guess. And we end with this beautiful Hebrew song, Ani v'ata. You and I can change the world. And even if we've tried before and it hasn't worked, makes no difference. We'll try again from the beginning. Those are the words. All right, everybody. Have an Erev Tov. Good evening. We'll see you again soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks so
Bye-bye.
much, Rabbi. Bye-bye.